Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Fanny. Happy 7/7. I hope you're having a good day. Okay, so today I want to welcome you for this new video called Make Love Not War. So I'm going to take my time to start in case some people actually see the live and decide to join. Yes, I'm starting those live things. So today is an important session. Really, look, I have 10, I have 10 pages of notes. I'm not prepared. Actually, I am prepared. I've been preparing for this for 3 years, so I am prepared. I just have so much, I thought I was going to make a statement about, of course, the guns, the Constitution, and the abortion, and talk a little bit about human rights. And I'm going to, but as I was preparing, I just had more and more ideas and how to go really deeper and bringing everything together. And so I've been writing, and I finished writing like 10 minutes ago before starting this. So I didn't learn it. So if you will excuse me, I will read a little bit at the same time because there is so much information and I really want to not forget anything. So I'm going to be between talking, explaining, and reading. Okay, so the 7, let's start with that. The number of bringing heaven on earth. Bringing heaven on earth. When you look at 7, so I don't know if I'm the right way or not, or like that, but the 7, if you look at the shape of the number, it's a line on a higher portion that comes down to anchor on earth, right? So it symbolizes the celestial realms, the divinity to anchor, but it also can look like a T. And for me today, it symbolizes really bringing the truth. Okay, when so there will be a little bit of good and a lot of bad, the good and the bad, and the bad and the good, right? Like we say. But when I got to the US, one of the first things that I did when I was home, I was a lot into these alien things. I have my little alien right here, my little crystals, and I'm going to explain also how the crystals, they connect and they help you enhance your intuitive abilities as well. So I was making a lot of researches about the aliens and the communications after reading mostly this book, The Money Mafia by Paul Hellyer from the former Prime Minister of Canada. I don't know if he was Prime Minister, but he was in the government. And he was actually saying in a conference that they were already in contact with aliens and that there were a lot of cover-ups, right? So I was a lot into these cover-ups and these conspiracy theories. And just to specify, wanting to know the truth and speaking up your truth, pointing what's wrong in a society or the problems doesn't mean that you're anti-government, that you're a conspiracist. It means that you're a citizen who wants the best for his country. And of course, we're billions of people, so it's hard to make everybody happy. How, I'm taking the example of the COVID vaccine, how do you solve a pandemic, keep people safe, yet not force their rights of the Constitution to impose a vaccine and take accountability? And yet, so you see, there is always many sides of the truth. And so anyways, I wrote this petition, right, to President Obama that's called Reveal the Truth. I talk about it in my angel pack on mastermind.com. I read the whole petition and I asked President Obama, will you be the president that is going to reveal the truth about aliens and stuff like that? And since that, it's a mission that's been sent back to me. And even though the governments and all the spiritual communities and all the mass medias and stuff, even if we don't realize it, they are preparing us a lot about on these topics subconsciously, because if you're into this, it seems normal. But if it's something that is very shocking to you or that you've never heard about, it can trigger, and I'm going to talk a lot about this. There's things that I'm going to repeat 2 or 3 times during the conference also, just as a reminder that when you've been building your entire life on references, on beliefs, and that someone brings you a new truth, it triggers you, right? And there's many stages of acceptation. At first you're angry, at first you ignore it. If it's something that doesn't, correspond to you at all, you just completely ignore it. For example, I don't know, if my neighbor tell me they have a new green car, it's not a topic that is meaningful to me. It doesn't trigger me. I'm not here making a riot. No, my neighbor's car is not green, it's blue, So when it's something that really triggers you, it triggers your emotion. So it can start with anger, and then after hearing the message many times, it converts into curiosity or questions. If someone questions you, at least it means there is a part of them that admits that there could be a truth, okay? And after that is then there is, sorry, I'm a little disturbed, so I'm going to just keep talking. If you have questions in the chat, I will maybe read at the end. After questioning, curiosity, then comes acceptation, right? So let's remember that, okay? Because I'm going to talk about political events. And so one thing to another, reveal the truth. And a lot of people have been asking me to reveal the truth, so not only about aliens, but also about political events that have happened, national security, and really, there are people suffering in silence. There are people who are victims and treated like criminals. There are a lot of people that are considered sick, and when they're actually like empaths who have intuitions, and they have lots of energies to deal with, or sometimes they connect with the collective energies, so they don't know how to react to that, and sometimes they're called schizophrenic. But you're not schizophrenic, you have this polarity that we all have. So why are there so many people that are attracted to our mentors? I always mention Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, but not only the spiritual communities, Matthias De Stefano, the I Am path, the Yosoi path, because he's opening up so much to his truth, his own psychotherapy, right? His own therapy. That you realize that people are so touched by it because it's everything that lives within us, that is registered in our DNA, in our memories, collective memories, karmic memory, transgenerational memories. So all of this, and that sometimes we have symptoms. I'm going to talk about that as well, the program. Symptoms that manifest in your own body and you don't know why. And then people try to put all you can do after the symptoms appear is to cure it. But if you can do all the prevention, I know that for me in my life, I was never sick. I have never been sick in my entire life until 3 years ago in 2019. That's a lot of stuff that happened. And since then, I have a lot of weird stuff. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Okay, and so yeah, about opening up your soul. Okay, so many people, they're attracted by this because it touches them and they realize that, wow, I have the same wants. It reminds you, oh yeah, for example, Matthias was talking about a memory of someone taking their daughter, right? And that triggered me something that I forgot to tell about in my conference about the spirit animals, right? I had the same memory when my dog was taken to me when I was younger, and that was one of the dramas of my life when I was 10. It was a female dog, and during my animal communication, I was told that this happened to me before, or I had one of these memories, and I was reliving that, okay, to transmute it in this life, or at least to raise my awareness to it. And then I was thinking, was this my memory, or was I connected to his memory? Okay, maybe we were already connected in the subtle realms, and now we're connecting all the pieces together. Sometimes things happen to you and you're healing something that doesn't even belong to you, but belongs to also the collective. Okay, so this is very, very deep. And you know, nowadays, like, it's easier to be like naked in a picture, but who dares really to open up their soul and to show who they really are? Because this, when you dive deep into the soul, is when you actually access the eternity, right? Like the Pandora box. So today is a little bit like the Pandora box. Yes, take your time. It's going to be a long conference. But this time I took the time to write it, because every time I do a conference, I'm like, I don't want to be reading, I want to be more natural. But when I'm more natural, it's easier to listen to, but I forget a lot of things and I don't go as deep into everything. Okay, so today I want to talk about stories more than concepts. Okay, real stories, not gossips, but reality, real things that, you know, we always talk mostly. I always talk about general concepts because I've been hiding truth, many truths, secrets for 3 years. And we all hide secrets. We all have our childhood traumas, the stuff we've never told to anybody, you know, and that we keep within us. And sometimes you keep those secrets not because you're guilty, but because you don't want to attract attention to it, you know, because the more you focus your attention into something, the more you manifest it in your life. That's why sometimes you're not hungry and you start eating and you're more hungry. L'appétit vient en mangeant, like we say in French. So it's kind of why I kept silent, really, because, well, first I was scared a little bit because I've had death threats, literally, bullying all the way to here in my house. I'll explain all this in order. But it was also because I didn't want to attract the attention on that and repeat those things. Okay, so I kept it all within. But the problem is, by wanting to keep the peace outside, there was a conflict within myself, and it generated a lot of symptoms on my body, and also a lot of blocks in my life. All of a sudden, my business went down. People didn't want to be associated to me. So, you know, sometimes you have to clear those blocks, okay, to reopen up the channels. So my question was, what do I do? How do I do this? Do I destroy or do I build? Okay, what do we do with the truth? This is also a thing I want to tell you about the conspiracy theories, because a lot of people that are conspiracists, they're angry. They're angry at the governments. You know, I was like this when I was a teenager. They feel like there is more. Their soul knows there is more, because the soul is connected to the collective. So the soul is connected to the Akashic records library, all the information in everything. We're made of atoms and electrons are connected to everything else. Okay, the science will tell you an electron, as tiny as it is, contains all the information of the universe. So within us, we all have the information of all the universe, except that we have a mind and a brain that is here to filter everything through your beliefs and your education and all of that. And so there is this cognitive dissonance between everything that your souls know and the limitation of your brain, you know, where we use, what is it, 10% of our brain, I think. And this is why they study that dolphins use actually a bigger percentage of their brain. This is why they're able to know where they are and communicate telepathically, or by sound frequencies and stuff like that. So this cognitive dissonance, right? And this is why people get sick and angry. They know there is a truth out there, but why do the governments don't tell us? Why are they hiding? And so I've experienced it myself, okay? Because sometimes being too open generates catastrophe, okay? So this is like, I'm gonna tell you everything since 2019, all the catastrophes in my life, and really you can have it all. You know, the law of attraction also is something that I want to talk about, because they say, you know, your mindset attracts. Your mindset, if you're positive, if you're joyful, you know, you will attract this. If you're abundant in your mindset, you will attract this in your life. And I had it all. Like after my studies, I did my master's degree. I've had the best career. I traveled to the best countries in the world. I went to Peru. I went to Bahrain. I had the best jobs. I used to work at the Alliance Française as a cultural director, organizing events and teachers in cooperation with the French embassy. I mean, I was, everywhere I'd go, my friends would be like, "Oh my God, this is so annoying. Everything you do, you're so successful, and now you're married and you have the perfect kid and the perfect house, like everything perfect." And even that, everything can fall apart. Everything for everybody. And sometimes you have people who are living in situations, and on social media, you think, "Oh, I reconnected with a friend the other day and we were talking and no news for years." And she's like, "Oh my God, I was living hell, got separated from my ex, he was so abusive." And then I told her my story as well. And she was like, "Oh my God, I had no idea. You look so positive on the social media." And so don't be fooled. The stories you're living, the traumas that you have, the dramas in your life, everybody lives those stuff. So don't think that you're isolated, that this is only you and nobody can understand. Okay, there are people, there are communities out there that are here for you because they understand and they know and they can help you. Okay, so the program for today, okay, see, I'm already branching out onto so many things, and I really want to stick to the order of my program because there's a lot. Okay, so my first chapter is Make Love Not War. This is my introduction. Then I had a dream. I'm gonna start like Martin Luther King. Okay, I had a dream. Then I'm gonna talk about patterns and energy vampires. Then Ujat, right? Ujat, the Eye of Horus. This is a painting that I created. Okay, so this chapter is called Guardians of the Galaxy. You know that music, Ujat. About symbols, then the manifestations in the body. I want to make some correlations between the traumas, the things that can happen to you and how it manifests then in your body. Then be the change, and love is all. And love is all, yeah. And see, I wanted to do 7 pages, but there's 8 pages. We're going to infinity. Today. Okay, so let me see. I have Sekhmet here, the goddess of war and strategies. So like I said, my goal today is not to destroy and be like these conspiracy theories. It's actually to explain why there are cover-ups and why you cannot just tell all the truth like this openly, and you have to prepare the people. Otherwise, look what happened during the abortion law against the abortion, right? You had so many women came and protest on the public square, which is amazing, right? We should fight for our rights. We should defend our right to our own body, okay? Abortion is a gift, okay? Medicine is a gift that we need to use. Of course, I am not in favor of abortion, okay? Because if you're responsible, you're an adult, unless you've never been taught until, the age of conceiving how you actually make a baby, you know how you make a baby, okay? So if you're making a baby, then have the life or honor the life and cherish your children. But there is also sometimes teenagers, okay, who don't realize how easy it is to get pregnant, or malformations, okay, babies that they're going to be sick, or someone can be a drug addict and they get pregnant. You don't want to have a baby when you're a drug addict. I mean, there's so many situations that it is better to have a quick and safe and non-traumatic intervention than ruining the rest of your life. Of course, I don't think anybody would regret, or very few people regret, to have a child, because once you have the child and it's so beautiful, precious, you will do everything. Even if you're 16, maybe you have your parents can help you. You will do everything for your children. But in some cases, some people, they're just not ready, they're just not responsible enough, and you have kids that are in the street, you have kids that are felt unloved all of their life, and okay, each of their experience. Anyways, that's not really the debate for today, but I think that it's better, if you have a kid that is feeling loved. And sometimes you have single moms and they compensate the love of the dad. Okay, it's the path. Some people have the path of being a single parent. But anyways, all these women came to protest, and then what happened? What would happen if we would remove the Second Amendment, okay, for the gun laws? Is that what would happen? We have all the guys, all the men, like all the people who have guns, go and protest on the public square, like, no, I want my right to my gun. Was there guns like that, shooting in the air? Is this what's gonna happen? Okay, so this is what I understood when I saw those protests. I was like, this is why the government is taking so long to remove the gun laws, because maybe this is why there's so many shootings right now. Are all of them true or not? Is this a preparation for us to be like, okay, now it's kind of an emergency. There's crazy teenagers and people and who come and shoot in the crowds, who shoot in the schools. This is unacceptable. So even Esteban this morning, he was telling me, hey, there's a sign there saying foreigners not allowed in our neighborhood. And he's like, why? I was like, I don't know, maybe they're scared of other people, if they don't live in the street. He's like, is it because they have guns? And I'm like, wow, my 6-year-old son is scared that like people would have guns. Imagine that. Like, this is crazy. This cannot longer exist. So, and of course, if you're a Pacific person, for you that makes sense, but so far I am the only person in my entire 2 persons maybe, or 3, that I've been talking to, and that is in favor of removing the guns. All the other people I talk to are straightforward that we have to guns, but yet they're against abortion, the basic rights to our own body. Or last time I was on the beach, bathing topless. There was nobody. Literally, there was nobody, an entire beach. I went to a place where there was no one, and I was topless on the beach, face down. From nowhere, there is a mom that comes and is like, excuse me, this is not a nude beach. This is very disrespectful. Like, you need to cover up right now. And I'm like, where do you come from? And she's like, oh, I'm over there. And she's literally at the other side of the beach with her 2 kids, like far. It's like, how can you even see something? I'm laying down here. I'm like, why are you staring at me? And I'm like, wow, lady, you need to have bigger problems in your life, because if this bothers you, I'm happy for you. Like, literally, if this is the only thing that's bothering you in your life, I'm so happy for you. Like, good luck. But anyways, yeah. So yeah. So back to these events, right? So preparing, okay, preparing the conspiracy. If they would reveal that there's aliens like that, a lot of people would be terrified and scared because of what we see in Hollywood. Okay, people have this image that aliens are gonna come and they are gonna shoot everybody because they want to take over humanity. But if they had those powers to do it, don't you think they would have done it for a long time? This is a lot more subtle. This is how we take back our power, how we become divine and our own channel. Okay, so let me read where I was. So don't worry, it gets better. Nobody wanted to be associated with me after all these truths that I've been keeping, right? But don't worry, it gets better. Let me remind you that in all these stories, I was a victim, and that you can have a perfect life, yes. And some energies feed off this. So you need to learn to protect yourself as well. Yeah. So this stuff that happened to me, then I was bullied. I was bullied so bad that people, instead of looking for what is the truth behind it, what is it that she's actually saying, no, they're just going straight to the surface, pointing at the whistleblower, right? And then put all their hate on me instead of trying to see what is the truth and how to solve it. So this is a little bit like, you know, these women who get assaulted and then they live in guilt. They feel guilty and ashamed for the rest of their lives because they feel ashamed that they didn't do something, they didn't defend themselves better, or they didn't like speak up or react when they were actually frozen. So this is a little bit like that, right? And or people or the guys who say, oh, but look how she's dressed. Yeah, it's normal that some guys are gonna, you know, do something to her. No, it's not. You can wear whatever you want, you can say whatever you want. It's not a reason that someone is gonna go assault you or commit a crime. Okay, so one of my first so this is also a story. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of negative stuff, but this is also the story of how I discovered that I was a psychic and I would have this strong intuition and could start seeing things before they happen, but also how we transmuted all of these, okay, to heal each other, and really a story of cooperation that brought everybody together. And you see, this is why I have all of my rings today, because this is when we created this team 143, right? So this is really why I'm doing this today. Yeah, and everything I'm about to tell you has also been shared, given to authorities, so it's no longer a big secret, but I feel like lots of people want to hear it maybe publicly and explain the stories. Like I was reading the news, and I'll explain you everything. Like there's some people who are waiting for the truth. There's some people who are waiting to know what happened to their family. Okay, why? Where is the reason? Why would someone go and attack someone for no reason? Okay, so I hope that you receive this with love and respect, and like it's a matter. Yeah, it takes me like courage, kind of. I don't know how to start this. It's been what, 30 minutes. But yeah, it's a matter of sacred knowledge and religion and secret societies and how people get triggers and when they lose their reference points and all that. So this was a long introduction, but I hope that you stick around. It's probably the most important conference I've ever done. So let's start with this one. So I had a dream. Okay, I had a dream. Blank page here, so I should go faster. When I got to the US, like I said, I was a lot into this alien stuff, and one night I dreamt that I was waking up in the middle of the night. I'm waking up and there is a light outside, so I go outside and there is a spaceship over my house. And so I go outside and there is this being, this light being, blue like that, shiny blue, that comes down and touches my shoulder. And just that, and I felt, I hear, or I feel kind of like, see, that's it. You're safe. Like we made contact, you know, we're here, we touched, we made contact, we're connected. Okay. You're safe. You're protected. We're with you. You know, I don't know. There was just this feeling of reassurance. It's happening. The great reveal, you know. So, and when he touches me, I wake up in my bed. So I'm like, oh, what's going on? Was that a dream? Was that not a dream? And so from that day, stuff started happening every night. Every night I would wake up, either like my body shaking, I feel like I'm levitating in my bed, or I would wake up, always this vibration, always with my body kind of like vibration, and I would hear music. I would hear music in my head, like inside of my head, like really, like you put the music on your phone, you hear the music outside, but it would be inside of my head, and it would be like a music of the planets, of the when you hear the whale sounds, very spiritual healing music, you know, all this stuff. And so after that, shortly after that, I had a dream. A prophetic dream. So I've had a few prophetic dreams, but this one was the one that, you know, when you have those dreams or those things in your life that you know there is a deeper meaning, but you're like, oh, I don't quite understand it. One day I will have the solution. Well, today is this day. So we're in Nice. So this is the dream. We're in Nice with Esteban, and in the dream, so when I dreamed, Esteban was a baby. But in my dream, Esteban was 5 or 6 years old, the age that he is right now. So we were in Nice, and we were at the castle, at by the beach, by the port. There is something we call the Chateau de Nice, and there is a storm coming, an apocalypse, a dark storm, a giant dark wave or storm. Like the horizon is all dark, and there is this alien, this gray alien, this guy, who comes to get us, just Esteban and I, and he gets us on a subterranean tunnel through a door that nobody else could see except us. But there were not many people. People were hiding. I don't know. They were escaping. But so he comes and takes us. He puts us through the door, and like, okay, you're going to be safe here. And the door leads to a boat. So we get to a boat, and the boat has big glass windows, so we can see what's going on outside. And there's other people, but I can't remember. I can see. I don't recognize the other people, or I don't remember. Okay. So we watched that wave. There is this black storm coming. Black. The horizon is completely black, and it's coming like a wave. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And all of a sudden, everything is dark. Everything is completely dark, and it passes through us. And so after that, I thought that everything was going to be destroyed. I'm like, oh my God, it's the apocalypse. Everything is going to be destroyed. But it was the opposite. After the storm passes, everything is. So there's plants and stuff, plants and trees down. Wow, I still remember things, and it's still making more connections to all of the story. All of the story is in this dream. I know it sounds like a super simple dream, but the thing is in this. And everything is glowing. It's like the storm has come. Everything is glowing. Everything is peaceful, a new frequency. And there's dolphins. The sun is reflecting on the water on the beach, and there's dolphins jumping everywhere. And so for the longest time, I thought this was a dream of the apocalypse, right? So when I was in France, I was even like looking for the door. Because sometimes when I have these dreams, I wonder, is this symbolic, or is it something that is going to happen? Okay, I had another dream. So this wave, this dark wave, is today. It's this moment right now. I understood this last night when I was preparing for that today, that's why I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you about some dark stuff, and only if you're brave enough to watch this 3 hours conference, you will know the secrets. These dark waves, a lot of dark information, but then after that I was scared for the whole time that if I would say it, it would be destroying everything, right? Destroying people's reputation, destroying the alliances, the relationships, all of that. But no, there was the opposite. It was like a relief, and everything after is more beautiful, and it's like a giant cleansing. So that was, this dream was about this conference. That is crazy. And then I had another dream just a few weeks or months ago about another place. So this was just before the conflict in Russia started. Okay, and then I realized that these guys coming since the day that they came to my house in New Orleans, that they were sending me information. Okay, they were warning me before. And now, and why is it so important and liberating? Because it was part of the path. Okay, when I wrote this petition, Reveal the Truth, they came and saw me and they touched me like, you're gonna do that. You're gonna reveal the truth. And I created this page, Fanny President, and I asked President Obama to reveal the truth, and now I'm doing it. So see, it's like the transfer of the mission. They were warning me. So why is it freeing? Because it was planned. They were telling me everything that was going to happen. So I know it was part of my path. And just like this woman who's been assaulted, and she's like, oh, I should have said this differently. I should have done better. Should have, defended myself. Feels guilty all of her life. But just like me, that I had this guilt for so long. But then you realize that it was part of the path, because this opened up also a bunch of relationships and alliances, and that made actually a giant wave that gathered us all together. Okay, so I know it was something important. We needed something to shake the world, right? We needed those alliances, because right now, if all the branches, okay, never communicate, then you can only create a small community on where you are. But if you want it to ripple all around the world, then you need, all these branches need to be connected with the trunk, right? And the roots. And sometimes to the point that it grows so much that then the leaves can start touching together as well. Okay? And this other dream was, so you will understand the dream at the end of the conference. And so the other dream was, I was in Ukraine. So just a few weeks before the conflict started in Russia, in Ukraine. And I'm walking on a marina. I'm not going to say where. and there's dolphins again. The dolphins come and they tell me, hey, jump in the water. Okay, there's big signs. Don't jump in the water. No swimming, no diving. But of course I go and I jump in the water, and they take me to a door, an underwater door. And there is this metal door. I come in, I have the code, and there is this alien woman there waiting for me, same as that. Same. She's waiting for me there, and her name is Truth. Okay, beauty and truth. I remember, I don't know, I wrote this. Sometimes I write things and then I realized that it wasn't me writing. I was just the hand, right, the channel. And so she was waiting for me, so that same thing that made me think, what is it? Is there underground facilities in Ukraine? Is this, once again, is this real or is this symbolic? Okay, is this me? Am I? Is this like the symbol of her being kept prisoner because she's in this prison of secrecy, that I had to reveal? And now I know that, well, I'm still think that there are lands of interest there, but I also think that there was indeed a symbolic, right? Because now I have a tooth growing, of that color. and that's coming out to the surface. I'm 36 years old and I have a new wisdom tooth growing. So it's crazy. This stuff is all completely like body and soul. Okay, so let's start. Okay, let's start with the less enjoyable. And I'm going to talk about energy vampires, because this is a topic that a lot of people have energy vampires in your life, mostly if you're an empath and you have a lot of great pure energy. And there's a lot of us who want to make a change in the world and have this super connected, the frequencies of the earth are rising, super connected energy. And there are some energy vampires, when they feel that, they come straight to you and they feed off of that. Okay, so when we feed off each other and we nourish each other, it's an exchange of energy. Okay, it's beautiful, it's amazing. Of course, I hope I'm attracting the people who want to be inspired by your energy, and I am all the people who inspire me every day. I'm the same. I'm always like, oh my God, I want to feed from that. Okay, but there is an exchange. But then there are people who just come to take. Okay, and it's never enough. Okay, and you're gonna keep taking. So how do you recognize it? There is a pattern. Okay, there is a pattern. It's like when you're full of energy and you're in your best enthusiastic days and stuff like that, this is when they come and they feed off that energy, and you will feel that when they leave, you're completely depleted. You're completely depleted of your energy, and it can take 3 days, sometimes a week, to refill. Okay, so this is what happened. So when I used to do my workshops at my house, and when COVID pandemic started, I couldn't do my workshop at home, so I started recording these videos online. And so right away, that was crazy. That went very well, because I remember my Art O'Clock series, and not a lot of people were making videos at the time. Okay, 3 years ago, it was just the beginning. Now everybody's making video workshops and everything. Okay, but so I started making those videos, and within a day I have like thousands of views on my videos. Like my friend Helga, who's my operation supervisor, how do you call it, my agent, right? She always comes and writes to me, oh my God, you got like 700 views on your videos in 5 hours. And last time when I posted those pictures on Instagram or those videos, she comes to me, she's like, oh my God, you got thousands of views, like it's like 100 views per hour, like, you're losing money, you need to come as well. Like, she's so funny. But anyways, so I remember that it went really well. Okay, so that a lot of people saw it, and so I kept going. And after that, I made this home gallery tour that maybe you've seen the video, and I'm here and presenting my paintings, and it was one of the first time I was making a video, and I'm inviting interior designers to come to schedule a private tour, for example, because I wanted to work with interior designers and tell them, hey, I want to show you the paintings, and then if you're renovating a house, decorating and stuff like that, I can provide art for you. But I didn't realize that in the subtle realm, I was inviting people in, right? And this is when it started. This is when then I met this friend, right? And so I was separated from my husband. I was by myself with Esteban, no family around. Okay, so you're the perfect person to come and try to take the energy. So this psychopath comes into my life and just keeps sucking my energy out of me, okay, all the time. And it's like they know, and so I'm telling you this story because a lot of women have narcissists in their lives, and they just feel guilty because they know how to make you feel guilty. Or of course, I have a part of responsibility. Okay, you have to know who you let into your life, okay, and not believe all the things that people say or pretend to be. Okay, you have to, like when my friend Tom was saying, you kind of have to make a screening before you let people into your life. So anyways, impossible to stop this. He's just got this energy grip, okay, it's completely on me, always coming back. And when they feel like you're going away, they're super kind and stuff, and they get you back, and then boom, this is when they stab you in the back. And every time the same pattern. Refill of energy, I'm great, I'm starting to be creative. They come, they suck your energy out of you, they stab you in the back, then you're dead for a week. No news, of course, when you need a friend to talk or whatever, they're not available. As soon as you start replenishing your energy on your own, they come back. So notice those patterns, okay, in your life, because you will notice it. So if that's the case, and then they also say, they never apologize, okay? They always turn it around, that it's your fault. Oh, I'm sorry if you believed that. Oh, I'm sorry if you felt like. I'm sorry if if you're not, oh, I understand that you're not stable in your life right now, but I know you meant well. This kind of like, always constantly turning these things around, so it's never taking accountability for anything. So it's sad, because if you're a giver, you want to give, you want to help, but you're putting yourself into the you're burying yourself for others. So sometimes you have to learn to just cut those people off and be a bitch, and I've learned that. I wouldn't understand why it was so hard for some people to let me into their lives, but that also taught me to become more like that, not stop being naive and just open my energy like this to everybody. Yes. So after that person, not only and so I want to talk also about the creative energy, okay? Because the creative energy and the sexual energy, mostly when you don't have a partner for a long time, you're building sexual energy and creative energy and all of that, and that you're able to redirect into your work, and that ripples, expands so many times, even though having sex and making love and stuff is also a way to activate your energy. There is both ways, all right, but with the right person, not people who are going to drain you from it. So you be selective also, because you can feel it, okay? You can feel it. If someone has been with someone else, you just know it, or at least, I don't know, you can even have your voice changing, you can even have anyways, images from that person. It's like you're mixing the cells, right? The energy from a person to another. So how do you call it? Like a tie-dye, right, on you. I mean, yeah. So anyway, so I'm in the middle of my divorce, and so this person is just completely stabbing me in the back all the time, not being a very good friend, and humiliates me publicly many times. And so that was like a huge shock for me. And then harassment for years. So why is it important? Because this person then added up to another scandal, and that just added everything. So let's keep going. So that went really far, that You know, he just kept going, and then I lost all my business. Even my publisher wouldn't reply to my emails like I would when someone sued me. So I was sued on top of that. I was sued for painting a symbol. And so I wrote to my publisher to ask for advice. They wouldn't even reply to me. They denied my next project. And so everything started to go down. But I mean, 2019, crazy year, but at least this is the time also when I was really down and that I met my best friends. I met Dean, and I met all my doppelgangers, soul family, geniuses that, lift my energy up. They saw the potential and what was really happening, and that gave me hope, because when you're alone and you think nobody can understand, and you're in a narcissist relationship, someone maybe has financial power over you, okay? So they think that because they have financial power over you, they can treat you, you can go anywhere anyways, they can treat you whatever way they want. So then you just shut up, and you think nobody can understand you. And this is when people just like die within. Like for me, these people, they saved my life, because I was just dying. I had pneumonia because I was such in shock of everything that was happening. I went from my perfect life, everything success all the time, even though the law of attraction, all of a sudden, boom, nope. But destroying to rebuild a healthier foundation. And that took 3 years, okay? So yeah, as Tony Robbins would say, and I love this because this is really what I've learned. It's like in the toughest time of your life, this is when you learn who your true friends are. Yes. And this is why you see me. I'm so loving on my friends, and I always reference, and I'm always, it's really unconditional love, because despite everything that was said, experienced, and lived, we stick together and we will still defend each other, okay? Even when we fight against each other, I will never let someone speak bad about any of my friends, okay? It's like, if I have something to say, I'll fight with them, but nobody talks shit about them, and so yeah, real true friendships came out of this. And when your friends, your real friends, or people that, I tried to talk to my ex-husband at the time, but he wouldn't believe me. And all the stuff I'm about to tell you, I told my friends and they wouldn't believe me. So this is the worst, when you think you have nobody to talk to. So I'm not just saying to say my story, but also that you realize that appearances, sometimes people, it's just the top of the iceberg, okay? Everybody's living their experience, so be kind to others. Okay, because sometimes you can see someone angry and maybe you don't realize that they just need a hug. This morning Esteban was telling me, oh, there is this boy in school, he always steals my toys, he's mean. I'm like, well, you need to tell him to ask you first, but also maybe let him have them, because maybe all he needs is kindness. Maybe he's angry and mean because he's looking for attention. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God, yes. Okay, so I need to talk about this. Yeah, it's gonna be a really long session today, but it's the Tuesday, right? Moments of truth. Yeah, you have to become unfuckwithable. Yeah, literally, like when people come to my life and they're just full of crap, and I'm just like, okay, you're out. But anyways, this is also this story about this guy, right? This friend. That ended up being a real psychopath and playing with 3 women at the same time, and not nicely at all, and really mean. This was a karma. I remember I was healing a transgenerational memory from my grandmother. Can you imagine? I would have my grandmother on the phone, and this is when she started becoming kind of senile, mixing. So it's not that she's senile, I've said it before. It's that when you get to the end of your life, your body is not strong enough to retain the entirety of your soul. Okay, it takes a lot of energy to have to fully embody your soul, your energy, okay, to make body and soul be one. But at the end of your life, your body is weaker, so your soul is not completely there anymore. Your soul is already traveling. Your soul is in between the time travel, the time tunnels, the gateways of space-time. So she's here, but she's also in all the others timelines. And she's on the phone and she's telling me stuff that she never told me before, and that's happening 30 years ago, 50 years ago, right? When her husband left her when she was having a baby, my father. And she's like, oh, did you see them on TV? I can't believe they're doing that. And it's at the moment when I'm seeing stuff, on social media that are like very painful for me, like very triggering. And every single time something would happen, she'd be on the phone telling me, oh, I can't believe this. Oh yeah, they came yesterday, blah, blah, blah. And she would tell me exactly the scene, but from her life with other characters of what's happening in my life. And this is when I'm like, wow, wait, because not only this is crazy, but it's not even my story, that's her story that I'm replaying, because 90 years later, 50 years later, she's still traumatized by it. She never healed it. She never told anybody. All of her life, she was telling me, one day I will tell you the story. One day I will tell you the story of his father. But it was always, but not in front of him. Or it was always the taboo thing. And in the end, she told me like half a portion of the truth, but I started finding out the truth when she was delirium, because she was traveling space-time, and so she was talking to me like it's happening right now. So yeah, that was pretty intense. And why was this so important to know and realize that this was a mission for me? I was doing this as a favor for my grandma so she can live in peace, because I'm healing this wound for her. Okay, and I'm reliving the story from another standpoint. Okay, I'm reliving the story from another standpoint. So when you see, for example, let's imagine, you fall in love with someone, okay, but they're married. Okay, that's what happened to her. He left her for someone else, right? Another lady. And so all of her life, she had this thing of, homewrecker, these homewreckers and stuff. But then, so, someone stole my husband and father of my child from me. So, she's a bad person. And we always see like this society, oh, those bitches, homewreckers and stuff like that. But the truth is, when I saw the situation from a different angle, I was like, because after that I met last year the lady, okay, the new wife of my grandfather, contacted me exactly when all this was happening. She's contacting me, and I saw her when I went to France, and she was like really in love with him, and then that made me see from the other standpoint. Sometimes, and they had kids together, and they were married all of their lives. So I was like, maybe he wasn't a right fit for my grandma, but she was like she was in love, and she was a really nice lady. And it's not that she was a homewrecker, it's that sometimes, he found a benefit. So that was really crazy, because that really made me, for her, I feel like meeting that woman, it made me heal that memory of her playing a victim all of her life. She was a victim, and to have compassion for that other woman as well. Yeah, so that was, you see, the truth always has many faces. But so before judging, try to understand that everybody has feelings. Nobody does something to hurt someone else, okay, unless they're a crazy criminal like I'm about to talk about right now. Woo. Okay, so we are on our next chapter, Ujjat, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, so this painting, you know what? Let's take a break. Let's do a little, it's been an hour, let's do a little card from the Lover's Oracle. That is perfect because I'm talking about these transgenerational memories and relationships and so Lover's Oracle from Tony Carmine Salerno, sorry, Blue Angels Publishing. Cool because I'm by myself here recording this live. If you're watching the replay, welcome. Thank you for everybody who's been helping me. I know there was a lot of encouragement to do this and going deeper and explaining all that. Mostly Matthias, when I see everything that he wrote, and I'm like, all the things I would always say, oh, I'll never get into these wands, childhood stuff, just behind, forgetting all of that, okay? Going far, I'm going to travel on the other continent. But in the end, the COVID is also why everybody got stuck in their house, because everybody got obligated to look at themselves in a mirror, and to maybe that was the point of the great cleaning and liberating those memories, because a day or another, boom, they came back at your face. Crazy. Like, there's stuff, all the stuff that happened in my childhood or my grandma's and stuff, that didn't touch me that much, you know? I was like, that's life. But then when it happened to me, I was kind of forced to be like, all right, okay, I need to heal this grandmother's wound. Look, I wanted to have a little crown on my head today. I forgot. Maybe I'll go get it in a bit. She has one. Acceptance is the key to inner peace. At times, we must accept things as they are. There is no point trying to change that which is beyond our control. That's so true. Yes, exactly. All these things that happen, and for so long I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, why am I so naive? Why am I so needy? It's, it's just as it is. It's okay to love and to need to accept that you need people. There is this spiritual community thing that, self-love, love yourself, don't, putting boundaries, don't expect things from others, the law of attraction, you get what you deserve. No to all of it. I'm sorry. This love yourself thing, this boundary thing is just an excuse for people to just not help each other. Okay, I'm not saying to be stupid. Like I said, I always try to help others. If they exaggerate too much, then I cut it off, but I always I always, give as much time and love, and I need also love, a lot of love, and I give a lot of love, sometimes too much. But we're so many people on this earth, if we're not here to love each other and to need each other, if we're not here to say, I can't do this by myself, I need help, like there is so much we can do together. This is the purpose of life, that we bring what we're able to bring on our own, but then we take the strength of everybody and bring it together as a community. Otherwise, if you have to do it all on your own, man, you're going to take an entire life doing one task, one thing that we could do so much more all together. For example, it's like Nikola Tesla. Imagine Nikola Tesla invents the free energy, right? Never heard of that. Let's imagine he invents this free energy out of conductors and crystals and symbols and all of this stuff, and nobody knows about it. What's gonna happen? 2020, everybody's here, has a clue, wondering how we can use free energy. And so we spend another lifetime trying to work on that. While if you actually be able to take the work where it is and continue, instead of having to start over from the beginning every time, you go a lot faster. Okay, this is why you take a class. This is why you go to my masterminds, and right away you can learn all the painting techniques, instead of spending 5 years, 7 years like me to understand how it works and the meanings of symbol. Okay, so now it's gonna get really interesting, because manifesting miracle. So I have the tree behind me, and this is the tree, same colors. Your dream is soon to become reality. Trust your heart and continue to follow its guidance. And trust. Okay, trust is really why I'm doing this session today, because I want us to trust each other, and really there's no secrets. And this, it's bad when you feel like people have secrets and you don't know if you can trust them. Like for me, after all that, it was really hard to trust people again. So now I just gave you the tip of the iceberg. Okay, now we're going to go deeper in why knowing the symbols is so important. Why are they so powerful? Why are they so powerful? And by the way, the goddess of war and strategies, it's not necessarily because I want to make war, it's because she's also the goddess of peace, and how we can reach this global peace and cooperation. Okay, so Ujat. Can you see? Okay. So Ujat, this was an order from the universe. Okay, so I watched one day a documentary of 7 hours about Egypt, and this was 2 years ago, I think, when I got to Jacksonville, right away. So you see how nothing is random. I get to Jacksonville, and right before everything starts, I have an order. Literally, I have to paint this. I see this documentary, and they're talking about all the chakras. You can see all the colors of the chakras and the flower of life. And I'm like, okay, so I have to put all of these concepts, all of these symbols into one painting, the Ujat. Okay, so now this painting, the original, is I gifted it to my friend Billy Carson, because that's his logo as well. And just like crystals, sometimes I have crystals that I keep with me, and when I meet someone, I'm like, oh, this crystal reminds me of this person. And sometimes I send the crystal, and sometimes I keep the crystal like a bridge between us. Okay, but they're like antennas. It's the same with the painting. Sometimes I make a painting, and all of a sudden, like for the Ujat, it was like, oh, it needs to go with the guardian, one of the guardians of the galaxy, right? You need to send it to him. Or maybe because it had a stronger energy to hold and ground the frequency as well. Because when I had it, that thing with that painting was, the cause of a lot of drama that happened, because this is also a memory from the Atlantis. Okay, in the Atlantis, we had this free energy and super strong power that I do believe was activated with crystals and symbols. I don't know, I don't remember stuff like that. It's just an intuition. but and information that I've heard as well, but that was mishandled and so strong that the Atlantis blew up. Okay, and this is why all the people from the Atlantis then went travel to the Andes and Khmer and all Egypt, but also the Mayas, all these civilizations, right? That all have the same constructions, they all use the same pyramidal structures, sacred geometry in their ancestral and sacred traditions. These were all the communities, the descendants, right, of the Atlantis. So this is why these secrets have been kept, because, and the thing with the secret societies, because they don't want this power to be mishandled and given to people who would not know really what it can generate. So just like it happened to me. Okay, so like I said, okay, so this is okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so like I said, when I started doing the video, the art o'clock, that I was really good on the social media, and then a friend of a friend who saw me on these videos contacted me to do an art retreat online, a conference online, right? So I participated to this amazing conference with many healers from all around the world who were live and speaking. Okay, that was amazing. That was my first live ever, and like we crushed it. Everybody was amazing. The organizer, he was super awesome. Like really, he prepared us. He was very kind. Everything perfect. He gathered. He traveled a lot, so he knew people from all the yogi communities, you know. So we organized that conference. That is a success. Like there's like thousands of people, so many comments, you know, on the video. Like I'm doing my live, but there's like all my friends and people like talking and everything. And so I explain this painting, and I explain many paintings. I have my book like that, and I show many paintings. I have that, okay. But the problem I didn't realize, and this, when I'm back to Sarah now, I didn't realize until months later, okay, that I made a mistake. So the Eye of Horus is an Egyptian symbol, okay, and the art retreat was mostly a Lebanese community. And so in Lebanon, I didn't make a research knowing what is the political situation between Egypt and Lebanon. So showing an Egyptian symbol, it's like, for example, you're having a conference and they show the logo of your enemy, right, on the background. Like, I don't know, it's like I'm in a meeting with Reebok, and then I have, you know, a Nike shirt, like on my sweater, like, you know, they're gonna be like, what the hell, like, so that's pretty much it. Okay, so this is why it's important to have this intercultural knowledge and wisdom, and knowing when to use the symbol. So in America or in Europe, we're a lot more free, open about that. You can wear whatever you want. People are not gonna really notice. But when I used to live in Bahrain, I would always cover my shoulders, okay, because I would respect the culture from there, even though I'm not specifically in favor of wearing the hijab, but I would still not want to make other people uncomfortable, okay, by showing too much, even though sometimes I would, because I was like, okay, they also need to accept the way I dress, okay, but they always did. They were all, they've never had any problem, super respectful and adorable people. So anyways, we do this conference, and months later, two months later, a few weeks later, I think 2 months or something, there is a catastrophe there in Lebanon, and this power plant explodes. Okay, so so of course, I was like, oh my God, I asked my friend, is he okay? Because the people from the conference, they were there. So we see that he was right next by to where they were. And so I started putting posts on social media, hey, I'm making a sale, and the profits will go to Lebanon and all of this stuff. I'm like, how can we help? Like it's horrible. And then that was it. It's only later that I realized when something else happened, and then I started really putting all the pieces together and realizing how much problems there is and triggers there are in the world, because I was teaching about symbols and energy and how you can convey so much meaning and so much messages, through just an image. And yeah, they took it to the word, right? So later, like a year later or a month later, I don't know, I'm drawn to go back to that. So I start reading articles about the explosions in Lebanon, and I see an article, and there's people protesting in front of the power plant where there was the explosion, and they're like, and saying, the people with panels like that saying, we want the truth, we know the governments did that, like we want to know, or like, I don't want to make accusations, right? And I don't know who did it, where it came from, but all I can tell is from my point of view. Once again, there is only one side of there's many sides of the truth. Okay, so this is my perception. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and I hope so. And I see these people like, we want the truth, we want the government to tell us the truth. We lost our families, we lost our apartments, our houses, our comfort, way of life, no electricity for months. So significantly reducing the level of life. And then I see this woman, right, with this panel, we want the truth. And I have these goosebumps that crosses my entire body. And I see the painting, right? And then I'm like, what? Like, no way, no, what? Nothing, there's no correlation. What are you talking about? Like, talking to myself, right? And then I'm led one thing to another article. What is saying, like, the government bullies or bans a heavy metal band from Lebanon for judging too aggressive or whatever. And then I was like, what if that was too much? What is this conference that elevated significantly the consciousness had triggered some people, either, I don't know who, maybe the governments, maybe some terrorist, extremist groups, I don't know who, I don't have a name, but who are, no, we're not gonna let this happen, okay? Okay, they could see, or indirectly in the energetic realm, they can see the raise in consciousness. So they pull the rug, right? They pull the rug, and so we are back to this survival mode. So why does this happen? Because these are people who need reference points. They have their beliefs, entire lives, and power built in some foundations that now, with the world evolving and changing, we're asking to change these foundations. So imagine if all of your life you believe that there's only one prophet, this is the only truth, there is God and Jesus or Muhammad, Buddha, or whoever, whatever you believe in, okay, your own unique truth. Or it's like, imagine all of your life, you have both of your parents, and then you're 60 years old, and your mom tells you, oh, by the way, your dad is not your dad. Like, what? It's like, everything you've built, this is completely made up, right? But imagine you build all your reference points on everything, and then you learn, something that's completely going to change your point of view. So you're triggered, okay? You're angry, you're not in acceptance. So this is what happens with the religions. Okay, now that we're trying to change things and realize why it's a common point. It's not a separation anymore. That's the thing, though, is that when Jesus, Buddha, they came to say, look for your divinity within you, inside of you, and look what I can do, and look what you can do. Okay, like we all can do, but you need to reach that level of wisdom. He didn't need to be crucified and tortured publicly, okay? It's just because people were scared. They didn't believe they would be able to do it themselves, okay? It was maybe a lack of self-trust or confidence that they had, like, again, point at the truth teller, that's him, let's get all our madness on him instead of focusing on the message and what is the truth behind it. So yeah, the common, right? So in the end, they all couldn't agree. Okay, did he say it like this? Is he coming back? Is he the right prophet? Is it not? Some are still waiting for the prophets. Some are still waiting for the prophet to come back. Some, think it's another guy. Like, in the end, we all tried to create those community because we need like-minded people and we need faith. And this is the only common ground between the all humankind. We need meaning in our life and faith and hope for miracles, because if life is not magic and wonderful, and if you don't think that a miracle can happen tomorrow, then you die inside. So there's a lot of people that are resignated and they're like, oh, I'm not looking for happiness anymore in my life, because they don't believe. But within, it's a sadness that they don't have that. Okay, so the need for faith and the need for guidance as well. Okay, the need for a truth and faith. So everybody has this in common. So instead of fighting because we have separated ideas of who said it better, all right, then we realize that it's all the same. So for some, it's still hard to understand that. Okay, that it's the 21st century, and now it's time to apply those teachings to our own lives, our own reality. It's not just a book, it's a way of living and manifesting into your life. So yeah, so sometimes the people who are scared of losing their power and their influence, because for the longest time the religions were what kept the monopoly on the people. They were the ones who were taxing. Okay, they were responsible for the taxes and for the doctrines as well. Okay, when they were doing the colonization, one of the first mission of colonization was evangelization. Okay, switch their mind, take their cultural referentials, apply them to this, and switch their mindset. So then when we're preaching every week, we can impose, okay, through fear. Okay, if you're not doing this, you will be not going to heaven. You will be punished. You're sinning. Oh my God, you're a sinner. So people were living in fear and survival. Now it's the opposite. We need to preach to reverse this process and open up the minds again. Okay, so one thing, okay, next chapter. Do I have it or not? I don't have it in this book, I think. Oh yeah, I have it right. Okay, so now I'm gonna tell you why I've been so that was I think the worst. Like why I've been so paranoid and not trusting people. So after all that, so before that, even that I'm about to tell you, before that, I already had people like not trustworthy people. Okay, stuff people who like fake babysitter coming in, look at my steal my notes, put my son situations, and so from my alarm being hacked, my security alarm being hacked and stuff. So this is starting to get a little weird, right? With one story, then another story, and all this when because of these videos and these symbols I was starting to explain online. All of it started when with the Triskelion, that painting. That painting, if you want to read about it, there is an article in my website, in my library. We are one library. So you see, it looks really simple, but there's a lot of deeper topics hidden into it. So, yeah. So after I started talking about all these symbols and the power of the mind and the manifestation, yeah, and once again, like the law of attraction, yes, sometimes you can have the best positive mind, motivational, whatever you want, if you're given a greater mission. And this is when actually everything crashed in my life, and I've been almost punished for 3 years, dealing with my own guilt. How could I know better for the symbol on the background? Why did I have that? I should have known better, not to offend anybody who was watching the video and everything. But the thing is, it's a world of 8 billion people. How will you never offend someone? Okay, you have to be free of what you say. You have to be free of having your opinion. You have to be free of what you wear. Okay, and Nike, even Pepsi and Coca-Cola, right? They joke to each other from in their commercials and stuff. It's not that dramatic. Life is not that important. So if you feel guilty because someone is going to commit a crime or something, no, sorry. If someone is dumb enough to go commit a crime, this is their own thing. Okay, if I'm telling you tomorrow, hey, go put your hand on fire, unless you're supervised by Tony Robbins during the Unleash the Power Within and he's telling you to do it, then you don't. You need to be with professional and in the right mindset as well. What is the purpose behind it? Is it hate or is it love? Is it discovering your own power, or is it to greed or to prove your power? I don't know. Are you hurting people, or are you proving them their own capabilities? You see, there's no right or wrong. It's all about the intention. So yeah, so at that time it made a lot of waves that I was talking about those symbols, and this is when my page started growing. And so here's the thing that ruined everything. So one day I'm now painting that green, this one, called Together. It's, I don't know if you can see really well, this is the symbol, the Native American symbol of strength, right? It's like two little threes like that, okay? It's like coming together, okay? So the Native American symbol of strength, that I painted that, and with all the little threes around to symbolize as if people holding hands, right? For me, that was a very beautiful, energetic symbol. And so I called the painting Together. Together, and I post this on my social media. Just like that, Together, Native American symbol of strength. And literally, like, if you knew how long it takes me, sorry, get my little angel right here. If you knew how long it takes me to paint these things, you would know that there's no way someone could give me an information and then be like, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna paint this for quick and then I'm gonna post it. Okay, no. I have many videos to show how I say a story and then I pull a card and it's like the card says the exact same thing. It's just because you're connected to all the timelines, the past, the present, the future, that your subconscious mind is actually reading what is happening and you're translating it into art and painting, and without even knowing. Many times I paint something and it's weeks later or years later that I'm like, oh, that's what it was. Just like that dream that I had, and I just put it together last night. I was like, wow, this is the big wave, the dark storm. And this is a long video, and you see, but yeah, I'm transmuting this dream right now. We're going through it. So I paint that, and like the same day, my ex-husband, who was in the Navy, comes home and he tells me, like, you know, with his face like all like depleted and stuff, he's like, oh, we're looking for some Russian submarines, nuclear submarines, and I'm like, what? You know, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, is that, like, are you guys like at war or something, like chasing each other? Yeah, of course, this is the, you know, he's using the word like nuclear, man. It's not. So it's like, I don't know, it's an image, and he liked to kind of make it sound like, you know, that was like a super mission, which it was, you know, which actually I learned from another of his friend later, that it was actually trainings. They were operating trainings like they do right now, happening, I can tell you, in the Pacific Ocean. They regularly, every year, have the fleet of every country in the world, this is called cooperation, who gather all together and they do war games, right? Or trainings like that, all together from boats and fleets from all the countries in the world. And this is amazing, because this is when they get to bond, they get to realize that, okay, we're all humans, this is a human on the other side of that country, of that border, okay? Just because you have a passport of a different color doesn't mean that we're enemies. So this is actually great. And so they were training like that, okay? Kind of like finding each other, or I don't know exactly the whole of the story, but that just makes me think then, what is the actual relationship between countries? Why is the US taking so long to interfere in the conflicts in Ukraine and all? Hi, hello. Why is it so, sorry, say hi, I lost my track. Why does it take so long for the US to interfere, or the other European countries to interfere in the conflicts? Okay, and this is the answer, is because of the nuclear weapon. Okay, because as long as you have a threat of a nuclear weapon, it's hard to just interfere in a country and say, hey, no, you're going to stop that. Okay, so there is always this different side of truth, that you can't just put the truth out there and expect that everybody's going to react, oh yeah, you're right. No, because it's more complicated than that. So anyways, he tells me that news, right? Oh, okay, well, nothing. Except that, of course, there's other people who are in the military who know about this. There's other people in the news, in the media, who have the same relationships that I do and who know about the information. And when I post the painting together, this is interpreted as we're at war. This is war. There's there's a bomb, and we have to stick together. In these times of horrifying news, like having to stick together. But anyways, this thing goes viral, and within, I don't know, a few days, it's like in all the magazines, like American flag, almost like, boats leaving, this, panic. Of course, nobody mentions my art, but it's just like a news, an energy of drama that's completely going viral all around. So I'm like, okay. And then this other psychopath from the first story I told you, who's adding a layer on top of that, and it's bullying me and posting stuff like, oh, like almost like there's a national traitor, like that's, revealing, like making me look like I'm revealing national security matters, putting the country in danger, well, no, so that was just a painting. I didn't even know about it. Maybe my subconscious knew and saw that, it looks like colors of the water, and it looks like solidarity and cooperation and stuff like that, but you interpret it the way you want. But this guy manipulated the general opinion because he had a lot of following in the city and in the on this community, and that all of a sudden I'm being bullied like I'm the national traitor, revealing national security matters. That thing is crazy. Like, I'm bullied on social media. I'm being treated like a miserable bitch, everything. Like, nobody wants to be associated with me, the work. Nobody wants to give me the promotion. I'm treated like a parasite everywhere I go. Like, yeah. So anyways, shortly after that, so this is when it gets even worse. Shortly after that, so of course, let's point finger at the people revealing the truth instead of wondering what is the truth. Oh, the countries are working together, or maybe there is a conflict. So then why? Or maybe the countries are working together and they're training together. So maybe we're working at peace, and maybe it's cool that we can actually reveal naval information. Go to the page of the Navy, Navy Facebook. They tell you everything. They tell you where they are. They tell you what operations they're doing. There's a new boat commission. The president goes and he makes a speech, and they're telling you what is going to be the mission of the boat. Okay, war, pacification. Then this is the matters we have to talk about. It's not big secret. No, this is information that we need to know. I want to know what's going on in the Navy. What are they doing with their taxes? What are they doing with their big weapons? I want to know. Okay, are they just playing games, or are they actually, working for peace and working on technology, which is actually, this is incredible. I'm going to tell you after all the work that is going on right now with the new technologies. And because for me, the Navy, the military, is when we finally reach peace, because we're going to remove all these weapons, the nuclear weapon. This is why I'm telling you that this is the emergency to remove those nuclear weapons. Okay, this cannot be the blackmail thing anymore, that, oh, I can do whatever I want because I have nuclear weapon. This shouldn't even exist. This can literally move the trajectory of the earth. So so yeah, removing all those weapons. So once we add peace, what is going to happen? The military is going to serve for technology, land organization, technology, bringing supplies, okay, helping each other as countries. So solidarity. We will always need the military. Don't worry, you're not going to lose your job. Okay, we're going to need the military to become more and more humanitarian and stronger. And the environment is changing, okay, with the global warming. How going to put human force into healing nature and controlling the forces of nature and reorganizing the lands and stuff like that. And now with the space exploration, okay, so there will always be the military, but it's important to know when to share this information without pointing fingers of, so for me, this has been 3 years. I'm scared of saying anything because when I said that I was bullying, it's like death threats, okay, things in my mailbox. So for example, so after that thing, that post went viral, I removed it from my Instagram. And after, a few days later, I was like, no, I'm not going to shut my mouth because I'm scared. Okay, if people are dumb, it's not my fault. I'm honest, I'm saying the truth, even though I didn't know exactly what this was about. I posted even though I didn't have the information yet. This is what just the energy, the flow of the moment led me to do. So I need to follow that flow. So I repost the painting a few days later, and this time I call it crystal clear, right? After I talked to that friend and he tells me, no, it's just trainings that we're doing, you know, between the navies and stuff. And so I post crystal clear, like, okay, no problem, it's all good. After, next morning, I have a prospectus on my mailbox with like a pool cleaning, right? Crystal clean, like literally exactly, you know, crystal clean, and like a pool. And then I have like a tree cutting, like with a giant tronçonneuse, I don't know how you say that. Like, oh, we get rid of trees, you know, we're specialists in cutting trees, and all this kind of message. I also have letters in my mailbox. I have people stalking me in the evening. I'm walking my dog, there's people like planking in front of my house, like nightmare. Bullied, like I don't even know, I don't feel safe. Of course, I'm talking to my ex about it. He doesn't believe me. And so next thing you know, this guy comes over, a friend of him, and that is really nice. I mean, really nice. They're just doing mechanics outside. And I noticed that he has tattoos, right? Lots of tattoos. He has the Uja and a lot of Egyptian stuff. So usually I never really talk to his friends because we do not have lots in common. So, but this one, you know, he had the Uja tattoo. So I don't have a lot of people and friends in Jacksonville, as you know, because, you know, I'm a miserable bitch. So I'm like, oh, cool, you know, I'm like, oh, cool, I like your tattoo. Oh, do you know about Egypt? Like, you like this stuff? And he's like, yeah, you know, he shows me a couple of tattoos and stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, let me show you. I have a painting. You're going to like it. So he comes here and I show him the painting, you know, and I tell him, oh, you know, I'm like, you see, I'm showing those symbols to kind of like open the mind, you know, of the people, and yeah, so we have that conversation, you know. I'm like, oh, you see, it's also a matter of pacification, for bringing the people all together, okay, through the different cultures and religion, because I don't just promote Egypt, I promote all the cultures. I love Inca cultures, the Mayan culture, the Khmer culture, and sometimes I talk about the Christ energy as well. I'm not so much into the religions themselves, right? Because I like to take the best of all of them. But so I promote the sacred geometry as well, or the natural elements. Okay, so inspiration comes from everywhere. I encourage people to find their source of inspiration from everything that they see. So we talk about that, and also I tell him, I remember, because the more we elevate in consciousness, and the more we're able to see new truth, like in Egypt, for example, there's been archaeologists and researchers and studies and stuff for years, for centuries, right? But still, why do they still keep discovering stuff? Because the doors were hidden. Okay, as long as we were not in the frequency adapted to it, we couldn't see it. So the more the frequency of the earth appears, the more the new knowledge, the new access appears. In the very same way, most of the time when I paint or write something or have a breakthrough or transmute something in my mind, right away within the hour, I'm going to read a book or an article or see a conference of someone who says the exact same thing. Not the other way around. Sometimes, of course, I see something and I respond to it. I contribute to the conversation and I bring my own, I also have things to bring to the table. But most of the time, I write, if I'm writing something in focus, within the hour of when I create something, I have a confirmation, a book and stuff like that. Why? When you're looking for something in your house, sometimes you can look for something everywhere, you're not going to find it. And, when you're more relaxed, boom, you realize it was just in front of you, but you could not see it. It was just there, but you could not see it. So, because you were not either ready or aligned to that frequency, and all of a sudden, or for example, imagine, that dream that I had. Okay, for the longest time, I couldn't understand what it was. So I had to go through all the journey and all that. For that today, okay, I'm able now to have access to the solution. And okay, because if you haven't completed your journey, then maybe I would have been, sometimes just like the Oracle in Matrix. If you knew what's going to happen before, are you going to change the course of history, or are you going to fulfill your contract or your mission that you're here for? Okay, all of these questions, all questions. So anyways, so this guy comes here and we talk like that, and like he doesn't say much, but he looks nice, and I'm super excited because it's rare that I get to have someone I wasn't talking like this that openly on social media before. But so shortly after that, he's he doesn't say much, but it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. And all the details, I'm not going to say all the details, you have all the details in the book. So I'm writing a book right now that hopefully you will be able to read, to have finished and printed by the end of the year, I hope. Yeah, the Great Reconciliation. The Great Reconciliation. After all that, I had to write a book. You see, it's going to be a long conference, but it's going to be a long book as well. The next morning, it's not a month after, it's the next morning. So he's here, he leaves. The next morning, I wake up and I see that there was a terrorist attack in Nice, in my city. 5 minutes away from my grandmother, the same street where I used to buy my son his shoes, and there is this crime, right, committed. And not only, and so I'm like, what? Of course, I'm not making a correlation. But then in the evening, I'm reading articles, and there's clear messages, crystal clear messages for me. the way the pictures are taken, the frame, the images, the stories they're trying to say from the news and the pictures and stuff like that, and from stuff that we talked about, and details, little details, you know, from the conversation that are there to say, we see you, we know everything about you, we know where you live, you know, and we're quick. We're really good and we're quick. So and then this is when the President Macron made his speech to announce the project Sentinel, right? Which was a kind of a Vigipirate plan to take away people's human rights and stuff, of course, through for the public safety. Okay, so the first thing I think, this is so grandiose that I think it's a joke. I think it's a scam, right? And that, you know, I don't believe it. And I'm telling my friends, I'm like, oh, no, don't worry, this is a scam. Like, this is just a media thing to scare off the population and be able to implement their safety plan, right? So this is what they do when they do a coup, right? Coup d'etat in the States. They provoke something that then gives the rights to the president to put public emergency and then to break the laws of the constitution and all of this stuff. So this is very political. So at first I didn't believe it was real. I'm like, wow, this is so well organized and displayed and stuff that I think it's a scam. So for the longest time, I didn't believe it was real. I thought it was just a scam, and just I thought the guy was like trying. So it was literally the signature, right? There was in the shots and the pictures, there was a signature from him to say, see, I'm here, but I'm everywhere, and this is for you, baby, you know? And so I was like, I don't know if he's trying to scare me, if he's trying to impress me, like, see how powerful I am. If he was like, you're a traitor, I'm a traitor too, or shut your mouth, you know, and let people do their job. I don't know exactly what was the message, okay? I'm just telling you the facts. So it took me a while to actually realize, when I started having a lot of pressure from the people. There's a lot of people, so this is when my team 123 comes around, my team 143 comes around, right? Because there's other people who saw. Yeah, there's other people who saw and who supported me in a way that, okay, we know what you're going through. You know, don't talk to us, but we're here for you. And because of course some people have more to lose, like, you know, reputation, but yet I will never forget how some people just showed up for me and gave me the courage to keep going. But I also had a lot of pressure. Why nobody wants to talk to me? I'm a victim, like, I'm not commending things. It's just because since that day when I put this out there, I attracted a lot of monsters and vampires, right? That were feeding off this energy, and either, like I said, some trying to, I think one was trying to ruin my life, one was trying to impress me, and the other ones are people who are kind of dumb and took things to the proper word, and extremists, right? That's my assumption, right? So this is also the stigma about the secret societies. The secret societies, why has all this knowledge been kept secret for so long, and why it's so taboo? I also had bullying from that too. But in the end, we all became friends because at first I was that chick who's opening her mouth and tells everything. But then I was like, why do we have to hide? If we're innocent, why do we have to hide? Okay? Why can we not talk about Navy operations? Why can I not talk about magic? Why can I not talk about love relationships? Why is there so much taboos in our society that we have to shut our mouths and not talk about anything? Otherwise, you're either a miserable bitch or a traitor or whatever, a whistleblower, you know? No, communication is what makes the society evolve altogether. And so this is what happened. Okay, so so then I talked to this about to friends, of course, because you have to talk about it. So I would say it to some friends. I was like, hey, I think this, I think this happened and this happened. And not a single person believed me. This was the worst. Of course, I'm sorry. I was feeling guilty and horrible for the crimes and the people dead, but considering that I myself wanted to kill myself at this time, death for me was kind of like, well, maybe one day that will be me. And I was really in a state that just it was one thing after another and after another and after another. And if it wasn't for my son and making sure I was here to give him the education the way I wanted and be his mama, forever, I really don't care what will happen to me. But I was always scared for him. What's going to happen to him if I'm not here? So this is really what kept me going. But all my friends, nobody believed me. They would be like, oh, stop smoking. You're making stuff up. I think you have a great imagination. You're not that important. Or who do you think you are here questioning highly ranked politicians or whoever, right? So this, on top of all of that was happening to me, this is what I had to hear every day. And you're not making any money, and you're making stuff up, and you're stuff too much, plus going through a divorce at the same time. This was hell, man. Yeah, so this is why I'm telling you, when I keep saying that symbols are very powerful, because they have to. Now I told you all the negative stuff. There's no more negative. That's it. Woo! 2 hours later, we made it. Yeah, the storm is past. Now we can open the window. Actually, I'm going to open the windows real quick. Yeah. Breathe again. And knowing about the culture, being educated, so you don't offend people without even wanting, even with the purest intention, because them are not educated enough. But they're powerful in a beautiful way as well. Okay, in the beautiful way, because then through creating my own symbol, there is a symbol right here. I can show you this one. No, I can't switch the screen, can I? I'll show you after. I attracted so many amazing people in my life. Like, this was really like the image of like bombing a foundation, my life, and rebuilding a healthier one as well, and it's okay because my husband and I, we love each other, we're good friends now, but we were not just, our life were taken apart. So it also took a long time for us to realize, because when you get married, you think it's going to be for life, so the time to accept with all of that. But so yes, through all of this, and it was horrible, I made the most amazing people in my life. Okay, all the geniuses who understood what was going on without me having to even say it, and the symbols. I would paint a symbol and it would manifest in my life. The flower of life, my project multiplying, because even though I always feel so slow and that I'm not producing enough stuff, and maybe this is the same for you in your life, your mother, and they want you to work like you have no kids and to raise your kids like you have no job, you know. So maybe you're frustrated, maybe you had a career before you were a mother, and all of a sudden you know you have to do everything for another being. So I used to work 15 hours a day. I was producing so much content, and now like I'm so slow. I'm still not done writing my book. Still not done. I said in May that I was going to be done with my Timberlings, and it's July and it's still not done. But it's just 2 months. In a life, what is it? You know, it's the projects of my life. I need to do it well or not at all. And so I'm telling you, look back at everything you accomplished, because even if on a daily basis you feel like you're too slow or not good enough, then look back at everything you're doing. Okay, maybe it's everything you've been doing for your kids. Maybe you wanted to relocate to another country, and you know you did everything to make this happen, and it's beautiful. It's a lot of courage to take your kids and move somewhere else. Okay, we're not all born with the same chances. Okay, I'm lucky because I'm French. I have a French passport. I can go everywhere in the world. And now I have an American passport. So I'm French American. I'm like the queen of the world. I can go in any country that I want. Okay, now if you're born in Syria, or if you're born in India or in South America, you don't have the same luck as I am. I'm sorry, but at customs, they don't look at you the same if you come from Syria or if you come from France. It's unfortunate because we all have the same soul and we all have the same diamonds within, but we're not all born equal. I'm sorry, this is the truth. But we all have the possibility to become better, okay? And we can all move to another country. There is always a solution. And we all have the right to happiness. So, yeah, this is the common, this is the common one. I don't even know why I went through all of that. Oh yeah, because everything that you accomplish, right? So don't be so hard on yourself, because in the end you realize that you're actually doing more than you think you are. Okay, so where am I next? Okay, so the manifestations in the body, to finish on this remaining of the negative stuff. Okay, so why is it important as well? Okay, like I said, I always used to not wanting to be involved in the family stories, not wanting to be involved in the conflicts. They don't care really what happened in the past. It's the past. It's not gonna influence my present and my future. Okay, but what happens when the past is following you? Like I said, maybe you have a mission to heal a karmic memory from your grandparents or from your family line or from another past life. I've talked about this many times, when this past life of abandoning a child, right? And I don't know if it was my memory or another memory imprint, but then it made me realize why in this life I have to step up so much and be present for my son, because I was repaying a karma from another life as well. Okay, because it's hard. Sometimes you just want to run. Okay, and so things get back to you. And actually going to present a good book, a great book, in my next conference, Go Vegan, okay, from Elizabeth Oxtra, The Recipe to Elevated Consciousness, where she talks about all that. All this stuff that she's talking about, I was like, man, I would never talk about this stuff before, and now essentially this stuff are popping back into my life, like for some reason. Maybe when you're talking about it, you're also helping others to know that they're not the only ones, and to know that there are also solutions, you know, to keep going, have a beautiful life, no matter what happened before. So on a strictly physical thing, all of this that I just talked about, hello, I see there's some people watching, thank you. It's a long video, so I hope you will take the time to watch everything. It's very important. At least for me, it's a good day. Yes, so what happened? So the first betrayal, pneumonia. Okay, first betrayal, I had pneumonia. It's because the lungs, because I felt betrayed. I felt like I was in abusive, like in a position where I wasn't free. So the first virus that came by, I got it. My immune system was weakened by sadness and feeling powerless. So so the lungs, right? You can breathe, so of course something happens to your lungs. So I got this pneumonia, and of course I didn't want to see a doctor because I'm a whole natural person. So I was like, I'll be fine. This is gonna go away in a few days. I'm just gonna drink lots of infusions. But this time it was so strong. I started coughing, almost coughing blood, and I really thought I was dying. I went to do some scans, and I had like stains in my lungs, and I thought I was like cancer and everything like that. I was like, oh man, that's it. In 3 weeks, I have a stage 4 cancer. I'm gonna die, and it's really a time of my life that I thought I was going to die. So, the breath of life was taken from me. Then, so and why? Because I couldn't speak. So, and I had so much pressure, and so from all this pressure, being constantly frustrated because people were not talking to me and they would ignore me, and I had so much frustration and pressure and anger within me. Then I started having blood vessels pop all over my body. So I don't know if I have. No, I see this scar right here. We had to scoop one out because from a day to another I had this red blood thing that popped out, and I had some all over my body. Because I had literally my blood vessels popping out. Sometimes in my eyes, I would feel like a needle. I would literally feel like I had a needle in my eye, and I would have a blood vessel pop out, blood in my eyes and everything. Like, yeah, that was bad. And now, yesterday, how funny is it? So I had them scoop out, but like I say, as much as I was trying to not say that and just leave the past in the past, this has just keep blocking. My business is completely crazy right now. There's nothing happening. My business is dead. Okay, and this is because I've been wanting to keep the peace outside of me and not attract attention to these stories, but it was killing me from within. Okay, so my body was just showing me signs. You need to liberate that. And also not just for me, because there's people who want the truth. There's people in Lebanon who want to know why there was an explosion. There's people who want to know why a woman was decapitated. So I'm telling you. So it was just not a mission for me. It was also mission of truth, but it's not just, of course the lives are important. It's just like the shootings that are happening right now in all over America. There's a lot of shootings, and I'm sorry for the lives, but maybe these were lives that were programmed to send a message to the entire country. May these lives not be taken in vain. Can we take the guns from these crazy people's hands? Can we make it official that there's no way that a teenager or some dumbass goes to any stores that they want and buy a gun? Because I'm sorry, if you're going to attack someone with a knife, you kill one person. If you attack or a rock, okay, or assault someone, bare hands, whatever, you get one. When you have a gun, you get tons. Okay, so the damage before you can actually interfere is a lot bigger. Okay, people have shotgun and they shoot into the mass to what? So I think this is also very important to know why these lives were taken. Okay, so we can make a change in the Constitution. The Constitution that was taken 200 years, written 200 years ago, and that the society is different. Of course, thank God the laws evolved. Imagine if we had the same laws. Listen, do you want to have the same life that they had 200 years ago? Like the same showers they had, like the same food they had, the same, I don't know, manners and traditions? No, you want to be a person of the 21st century. So it's normal that the laws are going to change and evolve as well. Okay, at the time people were still like fighting for lands, and I mean, we're still, I guess, but people were scared for their lives all the time. Now we live in a pretty peaceful place, okay? I don't want to be scared in my neighborhood that people would come and guns. No, that should not even exist anymore. Okay, so then another, so yeah, and so then these stories that I'm telling you today, this was also the big shake that brought everybody together, because I reached out to many people. I reached out. I needed my own spirituality and meaning for life to come back, because I had no meaning. So I was a lot into these spiritual communities, and I met some geniuses that I just love so much, because wow, we share the same mind and passion and enthusiasm for the real meanings of life. And then my mentors who literally saved my life, and just every single day they're my oxygen and make me keep going in life. And then love, and I also believe in love and trust again. How long it took me to trust people after I had. So after that kept going. I had people came to my house and took my citizenship papers, and that's been for a long time. So then I couldn't trust. Like when people come to my house, I lock doors. There's some doors that are locked. I'm not, as much as I love people, I don't trust like that anymore. Never had a babysitter ever again step inside my house. So finding a way to trust people again. And then I got sent to jail one night because I was in an argument, and I called the police to come and help me, and they arrested me and they put me to jail. So the trust to the authorities, now I couldn't trust anybody, and then you call people for help, and then they put you in jail because you were defending yourself. Okay, and so the trust into the governments and all of that was just completely down. And so that's, like I said, I reached out to so many people, and I reached out, of course, to authorities, the FBI and the Navy. Like, they all know my story, but we all came together to transmute that. Okay, the amount of support and the amount of love and compassion, and like having each other's back and taking accountability and communicating again, and making a change. This has been incredible. Like, you would never have me cheering like, yeah, go Navy, like a few years ago, or before I even came to America, because the images that they're showing you in other country is all stories, like I told you. Okay, I don't want you to just get stuck on those stories. This is why I never talked about it. I don't want you to get stuck on those stories thinking, oh, see, there's bad people, blah blah blah. Yeah, there are bad people in every place in the world, in every country, in every society. Okay, this is a fact. But wonder why. Okay, why is there bad people? Why do people feel like they have to commit a crime because to catch the attention, okay, or to have power over the people? Because they feel weak. They feel that they want to be heard. They want things to change. They don't know how. So it's just like always my friends conspiracists, right, who are just so angry at the government. They see stuff and they're right, and they're so angry. Wow, those shitty governments. And I'm like, yes, but imagine if I was you. How would you do it different? How would you handle so many people, that so many people are satisfied? And even the military, like all the pressure, the work, like my ex-husband, military, waking up every morning of his life for 20 years at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning, working out, like the amount of work. Of course they are stressed. Of course they don't have so much time for the family. So of course it's an involvement from the family, a commitment as well to sacrifice their own, not sacrifice, but yeah, to invest their own time and stuff to support the other one's career. Okay, this is why the Navy, they're so supportive of the family as well, because they know that it's not just the service member, it's all the people behind. I'm sorry, you can't work from 5 in the morning till 6 in the evening if you have a child and no husband or wife or significant other to take care of them for you and to make compromises in their own careers and lives, or putting their kids to childcare as morning early and having nannies. But in that case, you're sacrificing also the amount of time and love that you're giving to your children. Okay, so it's a teamwork to be a family. Don't forget that. So yeah, the amount of efforts that was created from all that, this is what I want to remember. How we could really, like, that time, not so much the roots is done. Now we're in the branches, the leaves. Okay, we're gonna start really manifesting and working together. Look at the Naval Postgraduate School. Okay, look at their program. So the Naval Postgraduate School is the school where they are sending the future officers. So most of them, they're younger, and some of them, they're people who are more advanced in the Navy, and they decide to, instead of going on ranking, they decide to go straight to officer, so they have to have a degree. Okay, so look at their program, their curriculum. Like I studied, looked at all their curriculum. It's amazing, like how they're bringing all the topic. Like there is stuff about humanitarian, there is stuff about nuclear energy, which is good to know because you know how to handle it. But this slowly is going to be replaced by free energy. And I invite you to watch my Ministry of Sound. And I thought my hair looked better today, but anyways, Ministry of Sound, Thursday the 16th, no, Saturday the 16th, I think, 6 a.m. I'm gonna make a session like that to introduce you the new painting, Ministry of Sound, where I actually found this anti-gravity formula, right? And to how to use different elements and stuff to work on frequency and anti-gravitation and stuff like that. So I wrote to them, you know, to share that, and they are making so much efforts to change this technology, and this is right at the roots, right at the education, that you need to instaurate that. So they're having a lot of new electricians position, research, energy. They're doing a lot of energy on that. Why? Because I get lost every time I have a notification. I get distracted. Yes, the oil, right? The oil is getting so expensive. There is also a reason why there is this recession, and the price of the oil is getting so expensive because it's going to help with transition. We can no longer use all the resources of the planet like that, or we have to use it with sparsity. Okay, no more driving around 3 times. No, you need to go buy something, then you wait till you have a big list and you go do everything at once at the same time. Okay, because the oil pumping the oil. What is the oil? It's the blood of the earth. All right, there is a reason why it's under subterranean, and there's this underground, how do you call it, nappe phréatique, underground tunnels with oils in it or things, because I don't know what it's for. It's actually interesting, but why do we have these oils? So of course we need to use the resources that the earth provides for us, okay, and to transform into energy. But now imagine if it's just holes, empty. I don't know, good question. But yes, draining the planet when we could actually find new ways of energy. Okay, so, and the last crazy thing is that I have a tooth. Yesterday, as I was writing this, preparing for that truth to come out, I realized that the truth was a tooth. Like, The truth from my dream. Remember the dream I told you about, this underground alien being that was underground and that needed to be liberated. Yesterday, I'm writing this and I realized that I have a tooth, a gray tooth, that color, growing, a wisdom tooth growing on the back of my mouth like this. I'm 36 years old, like, so the tooth coming out. And I realized that this was all the truth that I was keeping that crystallized and created that tooth. And then now it's coming out. It's just at that time. So you see how your body is a direct response to your experiences in your life. Nothing is a coincidence. That's crazy. Okay, so, and the wave, okay, and the other dream for the wave, you see, it's coming full circle now, with the aliens and the boat and the dolphins and the storm, and then how everything is coming back together. That after the storm, I thought everything would be destroyed, but no, it's a cooperation. And you see the wave, remember that image, right? The image that separates, like the explosion, and separates and then brings everybody back together. So it's like reliving the apocalypse, I'm writing. Yeah. But this is also the power of the I am. This is also the power of the I am, and we all felt so concerned, by, the compassion of what happens to others. And I know from Dean and Tony, and this is why I love them so much, because when I see in their trainings how the compassion that they have, for the people, because you're able to have this empathy for what the other is living. And the I am is really that. It's really like realizing that the message that flows through you, is the I am is the general consciousness. Okay, my mission. We all have the same mission, and I step up for someone, and this person steps up for me, and it's like shapeshifters. It's like shapeshifters, and it's really what was happening. If you can follow the Yosoi path on Matthias De Stefano's channel, it's called Sudhama Studio, Sudhama Studio on YouTube. It has like 360 videos of all kind of topics as well, with the I am, and how everybody comments. The comments also like, oh my god, me too, I feel that too. It brings memories back. And so why would he be talking about this stuff? Because his consciousness is telling him that he's going to heal someone by opening up, because you are you, and I am you, and you are me. Okay, this is the I am. And so through this shapeshifters community, right, this was really that, how someone is weak, then you're strong for them. And someone is sad, then you're compassionate or you're funny for them. Okay, and we're all one. So this was just incredible, because in this world, if you feel like you're lonely and you feel like you're alone, then you just lose hope. Who wants to do it alone? Okay, it's nice. I love to be alone by myself. By the way, I'm by myself alone all the time. I love to have the silence, but I never feel alone. I never feel alone, because I always feel connected. I always feel guided. Communication, and the social media communication, essentially, it's become a reassurance, and almost, I'm not going to say optional, because this is also, knowing we're all working on the same thing, but it's a confirmation most of the time. Crazy. Like yesterday, I make a poster, and then 5 hours later, I see that someone posted the same thing, and I was like, crazy. It's like, same idea, so becoming aware of this telepathy, this is really what's happening right now. We're not talking about survival anymore. Okay, we're really into this higher power, these divine powers, how we can really have all the information within us through the art. This is when it started for me, through the art, that I was painting things, and I realized that I was actually illustrating information from the Akashic records. Okay, things that were either happening in this timeline or in another timeline, just like a dictionary, and you're putting an illustration to it or a concept. Okay, so for me, that changed my life, because I was like, wow, I'm doing something greater. It's not just a painting. It's not just see this. It's not just a rock. First off, it's not just rock. It's a heart-shaped rock, right? And it's not just a 1 4 3. It's a simple thing with a number. This rock is so precious to me because it's my team. Okay, the unconditional love that people finding each other and fighting for each other. Because nowadays people criticize. But you know, I also like this saying. It says, your real friend criticize you in front of you and defend you behind your back. You know, and this is really what it is. Like sometimes, you know, someone hurts you, or there's something you don't understand or whatever, but I had an argument with a friend the other day because she thought I was attacking her all the time, because I was telling her, hey, I think on that part we should be more responsible or more like that, you know. And she always thought I was attacking her. She's like, I can't believe you're attacking me all the time. I'm like, no, I never criticize you behind your back to other people. All I say about you is, she's so brave, she's so courageous, she's so enthusiastic. But in front of you, I want to tell you what I think can make you better, because I believe in you and I have high expectations for you. The same way that my mentors, they treated me when, they saw the potential, and was not easy time. And I'm not going to say that, I enjoy grinding and that I would love to grind like this, but at least one thing that we can deny is that there is honesty, and that we really fight for each other in front or on their back, you know. And so this is prideless. This is the community that we need to raise, because on the individual level and on the global level, if countries start to fight for each other and show up for each other, this is it. No more war, no more peace, no more conflict, just peace. Okay, so if this didn't happen, would I have friends all over the place, so great, in all those branches, and we really gave the best of each other. Time travelers, humans, animals, and aliens. My son, my mentors. It's really time for a great reconciliation, America. Okay, let's not be afraid to say what's wrong, because this is how we fix the problem together. But it's also nice to say what's good, okay? Because just like when you have a child and you're constantly telling them, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, the governments, if we're continuously telling the governments, this is bad, you're bad, blah, 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 man, like, we vote for them, okay? So either, if we trust them, I think, an example is, I know I'm going all over the place, but for example, when I came here in Jacksonville at first, and I tried to make friends, okay? So there was a lot of girls who were jealous, because I came to Jacksonville, and like I said, I've always been successful and super happy in my life. So I came out all my energy, and I saw people, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, okay, let's do brunch. Yeah, oh my God, you don't have your husband? Okay, call me if you need anything. Here, take my number. Super enthusiastic and like super cheerful, very friendly, very like that. And so there were a lot of ladies that were jealous of me, like literally jealous. They would invite like the whole group except me and post pictures on Facebook, like, haha, not you, or, little things that right away, like, to reject me, And even though I would hear that they'd be like, hey, be careful to this girl, whatever, and stuff. So what happens most of the time, people treat you like that. I was like, oh, I'm a bitch. Okay, I'm a bitch. All right. And this is the thing, if you give people the chance, well, on the opposite, when, for example, when I was in Bahrain, my boss was amazing. He was always like pushing us, trusting us. Yeah, hey, why don't you do this awesome project? Hey, why don't we go do a conference at the embassy? Hey, why don't even overload of work? Like, he was giving me so much work. I would work all day, all night, all the time. But he trusted me and he gave me so much confidence that I did everything. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna work all day, all night. Like, I need to be on top of my game, right? So when you trust people and you cheer for them, they will do everything for you, okay, to prove you right. And that's the thing, prove you right. And the people who don't believe in you, then don't do that, what I did, just prove them wrong. The people who told you, some people who were like wanting to, some people who wanted to see me crashing and try to destroy me, mostly these jealous people and everything. This is also the fuel that made me keep going, because I was like, man, if I give up right now, I just could imagine their face, right? I was like, man, if I give up right now, oh my God, they're gonna be so happy. I was like, no, I can't make them happy. No, I need to, I just want to see their face the day that I succeed, and the day that, I'm happy again, and I went through all of that, and I'm stronger than I ever been. And I was like, this is the day when I'm taking my revenge on life. This is the day that I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna prove myself right. So know where to put your energy as well, because when you're like in the conflict, then it ripples, when you're in the like, oh, I'm a bitch, okay, I'm a bitch. Yeah, well, sometimes you have to be a little bit, because some people have no limits. But anyways, yeah, this was kind of my preaching for the governments as well. There's stuff, of course, that we need to highlight and show where we don't agree and fight for our rights, but it's also not be constantly in a revolt mode, and offer a solution then. Okay, if you're criticizing, then offer a solution, because they are humans just like us. Okay, the people, they get a job. And or they become president, fewer of them, but they're human just like us, who have questions and who have doubts, and they are listening, they are waiting for the people to also change the world. It's not one person is going to change. They empower you, okay, to become the best version of yourself, so we can all co-create this community together. This is why we need to have a government that also has the experience as the people, okay, who knows what the people are going through, okay, and you can identify. Yes, also a little word about weed while we're at it. Because for me, okay, so we talked about the Constitution, the abortion, the shootings, the emergency, and legalize the topless on the beach. Come on, still a taboo. Sexuality is still a taboo in society. Yeah, mostly in some country, because for us, it's more normal, but for some culture, it's very shocking. But finding the balance also between, vulgarity and freedom, okay? Yeah. Legalize weed. So why? Because I'm going to talk more about it in the Go Vegan, but all this stress, this anger, when I see people are angry, sometimes I'm angry. Sometimes I'm angry at society, I'm angry at myself, things I could do better or whatever, or I'm sad. When I'm sad, the least thing that's gonna happen triggers me, and I become really angry. And sometimes the problem, if you have kids, is that the kids are the ones who are in the middle, okay? Or what you redirect on the social media and stuff. So weed has also helped me a lot to appease, these negative feelings, to lift that veil a little bit, see that life is not that dramatic, see that, okay, like when I'm stressed for working a lot, then I realize I'm more stressed, and I smoke a little bit, And I spend a day off at the pool, getting a tan, and the next day I'm so much more productive because I'm like, oh, okay, life is also meant to be lived and enjoy, and loving everybody, and weed helps a lot to transmute. So instead of selling alcohol and drinking, because drinking makes you sleep, like it shuts down your brain. I cannot work after I drink. But when I smoke, I'm a lot more creative, I'm a lot more awake. Sativas. And it transmutes also your emotions, okay, instead of living a constant stress, because you see, all the stress I've been through, it manifested all over my body. And the people who don't smoke, don't have anybody to talk to, don't have the education, the resources, this is a lot of people who don't do the work. In France, we don't have mentors. If you're working full-time, you don't have time to go on a training, you don't have time to watch Gaia TV, you don't have, all that. So you live in this constant stress with your subconscious knowing that there is more, and your mind is constantly frustrated. So this cognitive dissonance is what creates this like counter vibration in your body, and this is when it ripples in your organs and manifests into some kind of symptoms. Okay, so maybe CBD also, I used to do CBD oil on my son when he was a baby, when he was teething. I would put just a drop, not every day, but when really he was teething and in pain, I would put one drop of CBD oil on his gums, and it helped, I guess. Find a community that sees you and supports you. Yes, the Great Reconciliation, be the change. So there is a series, yes, so now I want to invite you to sign up for my Metatrans Vibes workshop. Okay, I started when all of this happened, and mostly when I met all these people, these communities, that I talk about all the time, my mentors, Odin and Tony Robbins, and of course, I talk always about Matthias from Gaia TV, the Resonance Science Foundation, and all the mathematicians, Bill Carson. I mean, all of these, they're angels, and in my Metatrans Vibes, I really introduced them, and I started gifting paintings. I made this series of Metatrans cubes. And then I recorded everything, and I made these classes that are available on mastermind.com, so you can also manifest this in your life, because the Metatrans cube is a symbol of manifestation. It's the last stage of the flower of life, from the seed to the flower to the fruit, and the Metatrans, the connection. Okay, so it really did. Just knowing isn't enough. You learn about stuff, okay, but you have to manifest it in your life. And even though I always feel like a failure, I always feel like I'm not doing enough, I'm not successful, I'm not making any money, but I did manifest a lot in my life. I manifest a lot of consciousness. I manifest a lot of amazing people that I've lived for, and things that are priceless, actually. So I manifested that through the symbols, the crystals, the magic. And so yeah, Metatrans Vibes on mastermind.com. I explain all of that. I'm getting a little bit tired. I think I'm going to stop this conference. We have reasons to... So the Atlantis, I talked about that, the wave that brought everybody back. We have reasons to be grateful, okay? Yeah, I talked about this. Okay, and now I'm gonna read. Yes, I want to read another. I'm gonna read the final, okay? It's like 3 pages, but my brain is a little foggy right now, so. Okay, so the last chapter, love is all. Love is all. So can I talk here about my love and my team 143. So unconditional love, our traumas and triggers, how our friendship was stronger than anything else. Yeah, for me, it was tough being isolated and treated like an underdog, but I had less to lose than anyone else, and I understand. Yet they still came and stood up for me. It was like meeting my family and loving each other so much that nobody could picture the depth of it unless you're actually experiencing it, you know. Developing this new communication through the arts and the language and symbols. And sometimes also, like I say, you don't know what's going on in people's lives. Sometimes you feel like everything, you know, everything is good, and you don't realize that people also have their doubt, or sometimes people who you idealize like that, you think, you know, they're open to any situation, and maybe sometimes they can be shy too, you know. Sometimes you love someone so much you don't know how to handle it. Someone you know, many times, like I loved some people so much, I would travel to go and see them, and then, you know, they wouldn't show up, and I felt like, oh my god, they hate me, you know, they hate me, that's it, I'm so stupid, how could I think, you know, that I'll just show up and have friends, and a lot of drama could have been avoided. Honestly, I went to an event from Billy Carson and Elizabeth, and we met and we hugged and spent time together, and that's it. We're friends. It's great, you know. I'm not stalking them, but a lot of drama could be avoided when you keep things simple. But I also understand that sometimes, then I realized that sometimes people don't avoid you because they hate you. They avoid you because they love you so much and they don't know how to handle it. I know that me, like, you know, sometimes the things that are the most precious to you, you keep it, you know, you keep it for you, you keep it a secret, you don't want to ruin it, or it takes time to build the trust, or, you know, don't stop thinking that, I'm talking to myself as well, that because I always feel like people hate me. I don't know why. I'm always like, oh, I'm paranoid, this paranoia, people hate me. When I'm just, you know, trying to give love to everybody, and this wound of rejection. Okay, but the rejection, it's also a childhood wound, you know, because if you've been an only child and you didn't have, your parents were always busy working or whatever, then you feel alone and rejected and not heard. For example, I yell a lot. I speak really loud. Every time I listen to my videos, I'm like, oh, why do I yell? I'm really loud. But because when I was a child, I would always feel like my mom wouldn't listen to me, you know, because she was working a lot. Then she had to take care of the groceries, the cleaning, everything. So when I was talking to her, she was always doing something else. You know, of course, Esteban is the same, because I'm not always like staring at him in his eyes just to listen, because he talks all day. Okay, so at some point I have to do stuff, cook, everything. But for me, because I didn't have brothers and sisters to play with and stuff, I always felt like, you know, I wasn't being heard, or so I was speaking really loud, like speaking louder so people would hear me, and that sticked around. I still really loud. Okay, so there was this spiritual connection, but how do we manifest it in reality? Okay, in this matrix. What is the matrix? So yeah, so when you have also, you know, when you have an opportunity, I want to tell you, like, when you have an opportunity to tell someone something, that you love them, or to hug someone, or to meet someone, okay, don't think that there will be a better time or a better day tomorrow. Just take the opportunity, because you never know when it's going to be the next time. This is also advice. Okay, So now I want to tell all the people who are still here cheering and caring for me for social media, or like Wendy also from the exhibition, Robert, Dean, Marcy, where have you been? The beautiful lovers from Forbidden Knowledge. Yes, and of course Matthias, and really maybe our new friends and community that we met in Egypt. Yeah, because since Egypt, like since the Yosoi path, we're all like 3000%. This is crazy. You're an angel, like everybody. Like I think, yeah, he just like blew everybody's mind because it was so. That was really so intense, and it's also all the work, even since the stuff was recorded, and now everybody has transformed already. You know, and then you're lifting everybody up together. So the Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, my friend Davi, and I mean, sorry if I don't say everybody, but you know, the list is long. But I want to say thank you for, you know, being here and making our life amazing every day and meaningful. The cooperation between the branches of life, yeah, like a tree, okay, and the different elements, the seed, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, holding the earth and the roots, the energy, the anchor, and the fuel, a little bit of like the stages of the flower of life. Yeah, the Flower of Life Art Retreat, September 4th to September 11th. So we're going to keep going deeper into these topics. And paint it, because then when you have it every day in your life, this is an energy that responds to you, okay, that acts on you every day. If you're watching, for example, last night Esteban was watching video games that scared him. He was really scared, and then he told me, oh, I have this image coming back in my mind. I was like, yeah, because it's important when you're watching, because then you have these images that stick to your mind. So it's the same with your decoration. Okay, if you have beautiful art, beautiful decoration, things that you've created, so every time you look at it, you're feeling accomplished. Like, for example, I have my artwork here from my friend here. I'm going to show you around. See, so this one is my imagination. There's a lot of sigils, or this one that my friend Karine created with the lotus flower and the Unalum sign. And every time I see this painting, I'm feeling so happy and accomplished because my friend made it. Okay, so I'm happy because she created something beautiful that I taught her to do it, and I don't know, it's just full of light, and every time I see it, it just makes me happy. And it's important what you're putting in your decoration. So let's create some art together. September 4th to September 11th, Flower of Life is going to be here at my house. Everybody can have their own room if they want to, or share a room, read some books. So all these people I was presenting you, and plus my other angels that talk about in the Metatrons vibes, like literally I'm giving you everything that helps me on my path, despite you see everything that happened. You're probably like, oh, how is she not crazy after all that? Yeah, I was crazy for a long time. But it takes a village, you know, it really takes a village. And if you think that you're gonna do it alone, you can, but it's gonna be a lot longer. It's gonna be a lot longer. And like I was saying for Nikola Tesla, you can spend a whole life doing something that other people have already figured out, or you can tell just a month or a year or 3 years and going straight, you know, like the Rykov effect, you know, when you're so connected, then develop this interest, appreciation for a genius, that you straight away align to their frequency, and then you can start from there instead of starting from there. Yeah. So converting the CO2 into breathable air, right? The tree, I have a tree behind us. Yeah, turning your anger into creative fire, your anchor into fuel, your CO2 into air and material and food for the soul, because without it, without the intellect and the inner light, and our spark starts fading out. Okay, so thank you for making it fun and entertaining. Why do I feel like the president of the United States right now making a speech? Yes, another little transmutation thing. So after all that and these scandals and all these no, so every day, everywhere I would go, I have to find a job, and it was just like no, 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 no answer, no answer. I would make workshops, and no answer. I would make events, nobody shows up, or just people who show up and don't even pay, whatever. But so after no, 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 now it's like it's like this little song, like no, no limits. Reach for the stars. I made a song about it. Like, I have this song every time in my head, because otherwise it's like, no, and that's it. I'm depressed for a week. I'm worthless. I'm stupid. And then I hate people. They just don't care about me. All these bad thoughts. When you know that it's not the truth. Maybe it's not the right time or whatever. But so that's how I recode now. I'm like, no, okay, no, no, no limit. Because every time I go somewhere, they tell me, oh no, you have to reach higher. Last time I went, I called the Navy, I think it was, to offer my trainings, and they were like, no, our command doesn't have the funds to pay for your trainings, but you have to go higher. I was like, higher? Okay, what is higher? And they were like, the chaplain. What, like the church? That's higher? Like, you still take orders from the church? Like, I thought this was from the 17th century that was like this. But I just thought it was funny when she told me that, like, you gotta go higher. And I was like, oh, God. Like, okay, no, that's why I'm gonna run for president, okay? Because then, like, there's no, either, yeah, becoming the president. And then I'm like, no limits, no limits, go higher. Anyways, but yeah, so yeah, I'm confident that we'll see each other soon and rock this world, because we're incredible creators. Thank you, friends, and thank you, angels. And remember to make love, not war. I'm about to say bye. I have another page, but I think I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop with that. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, guys, make love, not war. Thank you for watching. Please take care, and you can write if you have questions about this. I hope you're taking it mostly. I was really nervous about how people would take this information. So I hope it goes to the right persons, and that you realize, the power of these symbols and the power of being together mostly. All right, love you guys. Have a great day, and 7-7. Bye bye.